Hey everybody, Crotalus here, and it's time for another in-depth review, this time of my first legendary dinosaur. I finally unlocked Indominus Rex, and of course this is one that is worth talking about. It is one of the best dinosaurs in the game currently, but it's kind of a funky dinosaur. It's sort of an RNG dependent dinosaur that can wreck an entire team if luck is on your side, or it could get killed on the first turn if it's not on your side. Well, probably not the first turn, the second turn. But anyway, it looks very cool. I think they did a good job of being faithful to the movie, and it has, we'll talk about its stats in more detail, but looking at its skills, it's got some armor-piercing attacks, it has exposed weak spot, and it has cloak. Since Indominus Rex obviously was not a real dinosaur, I thought instead let's talk for a moment about hybrids. So for one thing, it's important for people to recognize that a species is not some inherent trait that all living things have. It's a designation that we as humans have given things to make them easier to compare, to sort, and to talk about. So what makes a species is actually a really tricky thing, because everything's, interrelated in one way or another, and species tend to kind of grade into one another. So when something is suddenly a distinct species, is a bit more complex than you might know. So without delving too deep into this kind of complex scientific debate, let's just talk about the species concept. That's the most popular one that you hear about the most often, especially in textbooks, the biological species concept. And this is just the idea that essentially natural species living together that don't interbreed are different species. And it's much more complex than that, but things that throw a kink into that are hybrids. So this game and the recent Jurassic World movies have brought hybrids into sort of mainstream usage a little bit more. A hybrid you may be very familiar with is a mule. Mules are actually a hybrid of a female horse and a male donkey. And for the most part, they're generally infertile. Some hybrids, however, can breed. The offspring of those hybrids can breed. So that kind of throws a kink in the biological species concept and is one reason why it's a little bit more complex than meets the eye. So anyway, hybrids are a real thing. The dinosaur hybrids obviously are made up, and the science behind it's a little shaky, but that's kind of a look into what real hybrids are, and yeah, I don't know. Take from it what you will. And now let's get back to talking a little bit about how Indominus Rex fares in battle. And that cloak, that ability to hide itself, to camouflage like it did in the movie, is the thing that is unique about it, and it's its best skill. So cloak allows it to have a 50% chance to dodge attacks for 2 turns. And it has priority, so it always goes first. Use it at the very beginning, and then the key thing here is the next attack you use will be doubled in damage. So if he uses cloak first turn and armor-piercing rampage the second turn, it hits for 4 times his base damage, which is huge. Looking at his stats, his base damage isn't great, but it doesn't really need to be with a 4 times attack like that. His health is kind of middle of the road, and his speed is not so great. But since Cloak has priority, that really helps mitigate that a bit. So it's funny, to look at his stats, he's kind of just a weaker Rex type thing. Slow, but not the high health and the high damage you see there. But as you can see, his skill set completely offsets the need to have lots of health or lots of damage, because he can cause quite a bit of damage with a 4 times attack after Cloak. So he's a very good dinosaur, even though the stats wouldn't necessarily show that out. But he can be roughed up by dinosaurs under the right circumstances. After Cloak, whether you get hit or not is a coin flip, 50-50 shot. Sometimes when you get hit, there's some kind of bug that doesn't even show the Cloak. So in that case, I did use Cloak, but he still was killed through the Cloak, and I lost the game because of it. And once again, same thing happens here, where I have Cloak ready to use. One more hit will kill me, but I might be able to survive if I can dodge the Cloak. He uses it, you don't even see that translucent kind of look to him, and he gets killed through it. So there, killed by a Rex and a Raptor. And he can be killed by just about anything through Cloak if you're unlucky, but most of the time he's able to, at least if he's at full health, he's able to get off one of those 4 times damaging attacks and kill something. So at the very least, you almost always kill something with Indominus Rex. And this actually makes him a really great lead, because it almost doesn't matter what he's facing. Since he has immunity, he can't be debuffed, he can't be stunned, and he's slow no matter what, so most things outspeed him. But with Cloak, you have that 50-50 shot to dodge everything for 2 turns and then hit back with an attack that kills almost anything. The only exception being that he can't go through shields. So shielding dinosaurs are one of the best ways to stop him, aside from just hoping that you hit through cloak. But as you can see here, if you get lucky with cloak, and if he has just enough health to survive a couple other attacks in between, you can actually take out an entire team with Indominus Rex. Now once again, since it's a coin flip, it's not really something you want to bank on, so what I like to do is use him as a lead, make sure to get that guaranteed kill, and then switch him out and bring him back in later to try to see if I can do some cloak mojo once again and take at least one more dinosaur out before he goes down. But there you go, a whole team killed by just Indominus Rex. A top-tier dinosaur that is well worth a spot on anyone's team.